Oh yeah, we're ready to rock and roll here, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
Going
drifted away
live
here
on
for a minute.
Instagram.
Okay, ready to go with Instagram? You with us, Instagram? Hello.
We are live.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Garrett, how we doing on the other social media platforms?
Facebook is up, YouTube and Twitch are live.
We're all live. Yay! Ooh, glad everybody could join us today. Thank you. Good show today. Cover this a little bit. Something I've talked about for years, the gut-brain connection. And the new research that's out on everything from anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and hopefully, if we have time, Parkinson's and your gut. Parkinson's may not be coming from your brain, it may be coming from your gut. Pretty exciting stuff. And the research that they've done, how they did it, which is amazing, and how they correlated it. And it all travels along the vagus nerve, our favorite nerve, the vagus nerve.
Is this one of those shows about stuff that you were right about in the past?
This is pretty much a Dr. Joe was right show. I think we're going to do 2 hours of Dr. Joe was right here, yeah. All the new research that's out going, yep, I was right all along.
WSB meteorologist Kurt Mellish with the most accurate, dependable forecast.
What is that?
Mostly clear, low around 43. Monday, a mix of sun and clouds, high near 65, low 49.
Let me get my pen here.
Tuesday, partly cloudy, mostly cloudy, high 65, low 39. Wednesday, sunny and much colder, high 50, low 26.
Cold at the end of the week, and then rain again.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, kids. Not yet. Psych. Okay, I gotta shut the football game off because I will just be too distracted by it.
Yeah, I saw you last week.
Oh,
Just
it's a
kept
close
looking.
game too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I know.
It's our first show of the new year, actually.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is.
last week was no one still don't know why they played that basketball game last week. No one seems to know why. We got semi-booted over here this week.
Dr.Joe Esposito. Brought to you on WSB.
Oh, we have a sponsor now.
Virtual imaging.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. And it was funny, right before we went on the air, I was talking to Garrett, my producer, and he said, what's the show about? And I started telling him about the gut-brain connection and all the new research that's out. And he says, so pretty much everything you've been talking about for the past several years. This is kind of like a Dr. Joe was right show. And he's exactly right. This is a Dr. Joe was right show because these are the things we've been talking about for years. And now, once again, mainstream science is finally catching up to us and going, you were right. This really does work the way you said it does. So it's kind of cool. So we're talking about the gut-brain connection, and we're going to talk about everything from anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and if we have time, we're even going to get into the connection between your gut and Parkinson's and how they found this out and what the new research is going to be on treating things like anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and now Parkinson's, which is kind of cool. So it's kind of neat. If you're just joining us for first time ever, I am Dr. Joe Esposito. I've got 34 years of practice behind me, so we got a lot of experience here. And this show, as far as we know, is the #1 health and wellness radio show in the world right now. So let's jump right into it. And if you have any questions, I'll open up the phone lines, 844-44-DR-JOE, 844-44-DRJOE, if you want to call in, if you have any questions or comments. So let's talk about this. The gastrointestinal tract, your gut. Your gut is the most complex microbial ecosystem in the world. There's so much going on in there. I mean, think what the gut does. You can eat a cheeseburger. You can eat a milkshake. And the body is so brilliant, it can take what you just ate, break it down into its raw components, reassemble it, and then send it off. And that same cheeseburger can become eye tissue, can become blood, can become toenails. So your body is just amazing what goes on in that gut of yours. And how you can survive, which always amazes me, watching what some people eat. How do you survive eating that? Eating what we call the 7 deadly sins of nutrition, right? Alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener. I know, that's your whole diet. Don't get mad at me. But most people eat alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, and yet the heart beats and the pancreas releases insulin and the kidneys make urine, and it's just incredible what goes on in your body. So it's such a complex mechanism that goes on. There's 100 trillion bacteria, fungus, viruses, and other microbes that live in your gut. And a lot of science has now made it clear that these organisms now play a major role in your physical and your mental health, because this is something that most people have ignored. And I believe that the trend now is going toward more natural health care. Bacteria, microorganisms, in actuality, you have more DNA from bacteria than you have human DNA. So in all reality, we're nothing more than life support for bacteria. And the bacteria live on us, and we don't take advantage of that. We abuse those bacteria. We kill off the good ones. We feed the bad ones. There's something in your colon called yeast. And if you start knocking out the good bacteria, what happens is the yeast are not affected by antibiotics, and so the yeast can now multiply. And when the yeast multiply, they can burrow holes into your colon, get into your blood system, and you have what's called a systemic yeast infection. And you will be amazed how many people have systemic yeast infections, and it has an adverse effect in their lives. And for years, I've been talking about if you have a yeast infection, it can create mood swings, it can create depression, brain fog, and now the research is finally catching up. So how do you know if you have a yeast infection? I'm going to go off on a tangent here for a second. Oh, what a surprise. How do you know if you have a yeast infection? What I want you to do tomorrow morning, get a glass of water, clear glass of water, and put it next to your bed. Do that tonight. Tomorrow morning when you wake up, get a big mouthful of spit and spit into the glass. Scrape your tongue a little bit with your teeth and spit into the glass. You can wait up to an hour. And if you start to see little tentacles like jellyfish start to come down from the spit, chances are you have a systemic yeast infection. And if you do, it's a job to get rid of it. And we treat patients with systemic yeast infections all day, every day. And we got to change your diet. We got to get you on some good supplements. We got to get your body healthy again and recolonate the bacteria in your colon, the good stuff, so that they can start fighting with the yeast. But then we got to get the yeast that's already escaped from your colon, that's in your blood system, we got to start to kill that off as well. It's tricky because what happens is a yeast has something on it called a biofilm. And what a biofilm is, it covers the yeast. And so when your immune system floats by, it looks at it and goes, I don't know what that is. I'm not going to attack it. So what we need to do is get you on the right kind of foods that can break down the biofilm to expose the yeast so that the immune system can start to attack it. The new trend in research and everything all the way up to cancer is now immunity. 10 years ago, we talked about we have to kill the cancer. We have to kill the cancer. And the new research now is saying we have to build up your immune system so that it can attack the cancer and kill it. And I like that approach a lot better because then you don't kill other cells because your immune system usually doesn't attack itself unless it's an autoimmune disease. Another show. So the connection between the gut and the brain is so strong that some doctors are now proposing that probiotics may someday take the place of antidepressants. That is a powerful statement. Probiotics may take the place of antidepressants. What are probiotics? Probiotics are good bacteria. Those are the good bacteria that are in your colon. Prebiotics feed the good bacteria. So if you eat something that's called a prebiotic, you're not going to utilize it as a nutrient, but your body, your bacteria will digest it, use that to grow healthy bacteria, and then the healthy bacteria will help keep your body strong. So the research is even going into now chronic health problems, including post-traumatic stress disorder, may be eliminated through the use of certain probiotics. So why is this such a big problem? Well, years ago when we were farming, more farmers, and you got outside more, your body was exposed to a lot more bacteria. Now there's something called a hygiene hypothesis, where we've become so clean as a society that our body isn't being exposed to these different bacteria. And so the immune system isn't as strong as it used to be, and you're not being exposed to these good bacteria. And so when you ate organic foods, the organic foods had natural probiotics in them. Now, if we're eating commercially grown foods, many times they're sprayed with chemicals that can kill the good bacteria. And so you don't get to replenish the bacteria in your colon. So a lot of foods, especially commercially grown foods, don't have the same amount of nutrients, but also don't have the same pro and prebiotics that we had even 30 years ago. So we've got to take care of that gut because if we can, we've got to go a break pretty soon, we're going to talk about how the immune system and the brain and the gut all work together. And it's really kind of cool. Folks, I'm going to open up the lines. If you have a call, if you have a question, give us a call at 844-44-Dr.Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. My website, if you want more information, drjoe.com, drjoe.com. Pretty simple. When we come back, we're going to talk about how your gut and your brain are connected, the vagus nerve, how they formed when you were a baby, and the connection as to why you got to take care of your gut if you expect your brain to work properly. I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
We know how important the news, weather, and traffic are to you. Stay connected to Atlanta and WSB in the iHeartRadio app. Listen to Mark Aram, Von Hessler, and Eric Erickson anywhere you go, on the other side of the country or the other side of the globe. WSB everywhere. Live in the iHeartRadio app, in the App Store, or on Google Play. WSB's Mark Aram.
I'm Mark Aram, Triple Team Traffic.
Triple Team Traffic every morning.
Mark Aram here, you there.
Entertaining local talk for your drive home.
I like the different segments. His segments are different. They're more fun, playful.
Mark Aram.
It really is like you're listening in on the room next door with a bunch of people just joking around.
Weeknights at 6.
It's just like you're hanging out with your friends when you listen to Mark Aram. It's a bunch of buddies that get together.
Mark Aram.
And I never drank coffee. I was never a big coffee drinker. And the reason, if you drink coffee, your body uses caffeine. Now, caffeine looks like a chemical in your brain called adenosine. Adenosine is released in your brain, gets absorbed into the body, and it lets you relax. Caffeine looks like adenosine. So caffeine will block up your adenosine receptor site so you can't absorb the caffeine. So you can't absorb adenosine, and then you stay awake because adenosine makes you tired. So what happens is your body's smarter than you, so your body says, wait a minute, if you're blocking up the adenosine receptor sites and I can't absorb adenosine, I can't get tired, so I'm going to create more adenosine receptor sites so I can absorb the adenosine and make myself sleep. So this is why you drink 1 cup of coffee, then you got to go to 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So what you need to do now is slowly come off the coffee. So step number 1, in my first book, Eating Right for the Health of It, we have a chapter called Kicking the Habit. And what I recommend, if you're having trouble kicking the habit, take 1 tablespoon of coffee every hour. That's going to give you just enough caffeine so your brain can start to heal those adenosine receptor sites and you can start using adenosine again so you can get tired like you're supposed to. Second thing is, as we get older, we don't have the energy that we used to. So what you want to do is, A, make sure you have enough water. Many people are dehydrated. That's why they're tired. That's usually the easiest fix. Number 2, Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support. I take that every single day. Dr. Joe's B Complex, take it every single day. And I was just telling Garrett and Sierra that I went for a big hike this week. And I took nitric oxide beforehand, and man, I skipped up the mountain. So nitric oxide, Super Greens Essential Source, B Complex, and Adrenal Support, any combination of those, or all of them is what I take, you're going to be amazed how you won't need your coffee anymore. Okay. Another question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have one? I have one.
Let Sierra go.
I'm not really too sure what it just says. Chronic infections like eczema.
Eczema is usually, I gotta get my bell. Okay, you got that one right, so you get a bell.
Thanks.
You said eczema correctly. So she gets the first bell of the night.
That was the easy one.
It's an easy word.
Well, you can't even get keto, right? So.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I see eczema, skin rashes like that, I always think liver. It's usually liver or digestive system. So keep listening today. We're going to cover a lot on the digestive system and how to fix it. But you can get on something called milk thistle. We have a really good milk thistle at the office. If you call the office, 844-44-Dr.Joe, when we're not on the air, we can get you some milk thistle, and many times that'll help clean out the liver. Now with milk thistle, if I take the recommended dosage, I get a headache. My body detoxifies so quickly, I get a headache. So what I do is I take about a quarter of the dose, and I can use that to help clean out my liver. But once you clean out the liver, you usually do pretty good. You have to give up wheat and dairy products always when you have a skin condition. No wheat, no dairy. And what you'll probably find is you'll do it, and then you'll cheat, and when you cheat, it'll start to come back, and you go, Dr. Joe was right. And so that's what you want to do internally more so than externally. Externally, you could use tea tree oil and mix it with a little coconut oil, and that would help pretty well externally, but you got to clean out the liver. So, your turn, Mr. G.
What would it ever mean for me to wake up with black film on my tongue?
Ooh, that's usually a bad infection. It's usually liver toxicity, many times drugs toxicity. So you got to call your medical doctor if you're on any medication and find that out. It's called fuzzy tongue. That's not a joke. That's what it's called, or hairy tongue. And that it could be a drug reaction. So you really want to call your medical doctor and find out what's going on there. That's not something you want to play with. Yeah. Hairy tongue. Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to liver again. So.
How long does it take usually to recover from food poisoning?
3 to 4 days usually to get totally out of it, but then you really want to get on Dr. Joe's probiotic, super greens, and essential source to recolonate your colon. Absolutely. And vitamin D to keep your immune system strong. Okay.
Why would you need to recolonate it?
Because if you have food poisoning, you usually have diarrhea or vomiting, and so you're probably throwing stuff out, and so you got to recolonate it again.
I never even thought about that.
Something's coming out. Yeah. And when you go to the bathroom, actually, what comes out of you is usually about 70 or 80% bacteria.
Refrigerator. Learn what you should eat and what not to eat to get healthy. Dr. Joe Esposito is on. News 95.5 at AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. We're talking today about the gut-brain connection, and a lot of the things that I talked about over the past 30 years or so have now come to fruition. We put this in the Dr. Joe is Right column because we're talking about the brain and the gut and probiotics, and now a lot of researchers are considering probiotics to help replace antidepressants in people with post-traumatic stress disorder. Because when the bacteria are working properly, the bacteria talk to your brain, and this mix, a specific mix of microbes in the gut, can determine how your brain works. And it's interesting because we've reported a long time ago and several times that fat people, and I used to be fat, so I can say the F word, fat people have different bacteria in their colon than skinny people. So a lot of this research was early on, they were taking, this is not a joke, a fecal transplant. They were taking bacteria from skinny people and putting it in fat people. Fecal transplant into their colon to try to recolonate their colon with skinny people bacteria. And it seemed to work. So now we're going one step further and we're looking at the connection between depression and anxiety. And we are finding that people have a lot of these conditions have a different flora, it's called, the bacteria in your colon, or the microbiome. The bacteria in your colon are different than people that aren't in those states. So we can now, and I'm sure the future will come to this, that we can do a sample of the bacteria in someone's colon and determine how it may be affecting their mental state. And it's in its early stages now. But once again, why don't we just get the body healthy? Yes, we can do a test and say, let's say Bob has depression and he's lacking this probiotic, and I don't know, Jane has psychosis and she's lacking this bacteria. So we're able to do that. But for right now, why don't we just start focusing on getting the bacteria healthy? And we do that by not killing the bacteria off. And one of the things I want you to consider is antibiotics. I am not against antibiotics. If you need antibiotics, I want you to take them. But what about accidental or incidental antibiotics? You might get antibiotics if you're drinking chlorinated water. Chlorine acts like an antibiotic. Fluorine acts like an antibiotic. If you're eating commercial animal products, meats and dairy products, many times they're fed low levels antibiotics, and when you eat it, you get those antibiotics into your colon, and that becomes a problem. If you're using non-organic foods, many times they're sprayed with chemicals, especially genetically modified foods are sprayed with something called glyphosate. And glyphosate, guess what? Kills off bacteria. So there's a lot of things you're doing every single day to be killing off your bacteria, and that can affect your brain function. And we're going to talk about how it works on the vagus nerve, but let's start taking callers. If you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Brian, how can we make your day better?
Hey, Dr. Joe, I'm a new listener.
Oh, welcome.
I'm a prostate cancer survivor. 7 years ago, had radical prostatectomy.
Yes.
And over the course of the last 7 years, my PSA has continued to rise.
Okay.
It's not that bad. I'm at about 4.5 at the moment.
Okay.
But my oncologist is pretty intent on working me through a regimen of lycopene. And we've been increasing my dosage on lycopene. He believes that will help reduce my PSA. It hasn't yet.
Okay.
I'm now taking about 600 milligrams of lycopene.
Right. Okay.
Every day.
Sure.
So I'm looking for, I don't know, some other natural, I guess lycopene, I don't know if you'd call that natural or not, but
it is.
Over-the-counter kind of,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Natural things that I've heard of broccoli and broccoli powder and all kinds of other things that are out there that people use to reduce PSA.
Right.
Wondering if you had some suggestions for me.
Of course I have suggestions. If you're a regular listener, Brian, you know I have suggestions.
I know. I'm with you.
Okay, a couple of things. You really want to get on a more plant-based diet because animal products are not good for the prostate. So meats, dairy products, butter, cheese, yogurt, eggs, ice cream, you just got to cut those out. That's just is what it is. Second thing is you got to make sure
I don't have a prostate.
Okay, right. Okay, so we still got to cut it out because those are inflammatory foods. Okay,
Sure.
and what we're doing now is trying to get you on an anti-inflammatory diet. So animal products got to go. Wheat has got to go. When I say wheat, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, because wheat causes an inflammatory reaction in the colon. That's not a good thing. So getting on an anti-inflammatory diet, we have two products I use every day. It's called Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source.
Right.
And the Essential Source is fruit and vegetable powders. We juice the fruits and vegetables, take the water and the sugar out, and what's left is a powder. And then we add prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, complete multivitamin, loaded with antioxidants. So I would take the Super Greens, the Essential Source every day.
Wow.
Stay away from those bad foods. You can also add turmeric to your diet because turmeric is
Yep. I do take that.
You're ready with me. Good. And make sure you drink enough water. That's important too. Okay, so the lycopene, the doctor's right on with that. I love what he's doing. We're going to take it to hyperspace now. Okay, we're going to go add lycopene and a bunch of other antioxidants to it, and that should be great. And then something raw at every meal. Now, when I say raw, broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocado, salad, because raw food has something in it called enzymes. And how old are you?
51.
51. Okay, yeah, just a baby. But as we get older, we don't produce as many enzymes. So we got to get our enzyme levels up. So Super Greens, essential source, something raw at every meal. And we do have something called Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes. You might want to consider that as well.
Okay.
Okay, there you go, Brian. Give that a shot. Give us a call in 6 weeks.
You.
Let us know how it works. Thanks. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. The phone number here, 844-44-Dr. Joe. We're talking today about the brain-to-gut communication and how they control each other, actually. And so your gut has about 200 million neurons in it. These are nerves. And that's about the size of a dog's brain. So dogs are smart. They can be trained and they can do things. So your gut has a lot of neurons. Your brain has more, but your gut has a lot more of different types of things going on. So there's 100 trillion microorganisms. You got 200 million neurons going on there. And your brain is the home of what we call the central nervous system. Your gut has something called the enteric nervous system. The enteric nervous system controls your gut. The central nervous system is the brain and the spinal cord. And they're connected by something called the vagus nerve. Now, the vagus nerve is what we call a 10th cranial nerve. It's the longest nerve in the body. And it goes from your neck all the way into your abdomen and has the widest distribution of what we call sensory and motor nerves. Sensory tells you, is feeling, and motor makes things move. So, for example, if I touch a hot stove, the sensory portion of my body is going to say, ooh, that's hot. The motor portion of my body is going to pull my hand away. So the vagus nerve controls all the organs in your body except the adrenal glands. Now, why it doesn't control the adrenal glands, I have no idea. This is just how it is. But your brain sends signals back and forth, and they communicate with something called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are chemicals that make the nerves work. And the cool part is this. Your brain and your digestive system, your enteric nervous system, use the same neurotransmitters. So it essentially is the second brain in your body. Now, serotonin is a neurotransmitter, and it produces a state of well-being. It's what we call your happy neurotransmitter. In your gut, 95% of serotonin is produced. Only 5% of the serotonin is used in your brain. 95% is used in your gut. And it sets the pace for digestion, and it actually acts as an immune system regulator. So if you have immune issues, this is why you might see commercials for yogurt. Well, they'll say, well, 70% of your immune system is in your digestive system. Absolutely correct. Because that's where most of the serotonin is, which helps regulate your immune system. Now, I'm not a big fan of yogurt as a source of probiotics, unless it's raw yogurt. Because once you pasteurize the yogurt, a lot of those probiotics, those good bacteria, are killed off. So you'll say, well, this has X amount of probiotics in it. Well, that's usually done before they do the pasteurization. So it may not have the same that you want. That's why we have a product called Dr. Joe's Probiotics, and that's something you might want to consider if you want to help rebuild your colon. Folks, a lot more to talk about how things go wrong between the brain and the gut when we come back. If you have a healthcare question, give us a call. The number here at the studio is 844-44-Dr. Joe, 844-44-DRJOE. My website, if you want to get those supplements we talked about, if you want to listen to podcasts, if you have questions, you can call us or send it through the website, drjoe.com. Folks, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We'd love to be your doctors. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Simply Safe Home Security has removed.
Neil. Questions?
You got anything?
I have let me see. Just one. What kind of pH alkaline water should we drink?
Okay, you don't really need alkaline water. I'm not against alkaline water, so if you're out there selling it multi-level, don't get mad at me. It's okay. But if you're eating the right diet, if you're eating mostly fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, you don't have to alkalize your system. And the concern I have with alkaline water is people use it as a crutch. And it's okay. But people use it as a crutch and they say, well, I'm going to drink alkaline water and that's all I need to do to alkalize my body and I'm going to cure every disease known to man. That's not true. Alkaline water only changes your pH, your acid and alkaline levels. It doesn't change your vitamins, minerals, and nutrient levels. So if you're eating a good diet, chances are you don't need the alkaline water. So I drink pure filtered water. And in fact, we're hopefully going to get a new water filter on our website very soon. We're meeting with a company that I think we can trust. We had one company I didn't like their customer service. Great product, horrible customer service. I didn't use them. So hopefully we're going to start carrying water filters on our website in the next couple of weeks. So at least get a good water filter, if nothing else for your sink. I have one that is my whole house, and I filter every drop of water in my house. So
One more question. I am a type 2 diabetic. Is it okay for me to fast?
you got to monitor your blood sugar. So the answer is I don't know. Some type 2s can fast. And the thing is with type 2 diabetes is this: if you're eating a high fiber diet, many times you're able to control the type 2 diabetes, because type 2 diabetes is also called insulin resistance. Your cells are not allowing insulin to open them up and allow glucose in. And so if you get on a high fiber diet, if you take the right kind of nutrients like chromium, cinnamon, many times you can stabilize the blood sugar. Gymnema, we have a great Gymnema supplement at our office. It's not on the website, but we have it at the office. You can order it if you call the office. But Gymnema, cinnamon, and then a high fiber diet, most people can stabilize and they do pretty well. You just have to monitor your blood sugar. If it starts getting wacky, you don't want to fast, but you can try it and see.
Any suggestions or tips for people who have had their appendix removed?
You got to keep the immune system strong, because we thought the appendix was a vestigial organ, meaning you don't need it. Turns out we were wrong. We meaning scientific world. You do need it. It stores extra bacteria. So if you have diarrhea, if you have a bout of an issue with maybe a lot of antibiotics, you can store good bacteria in there, and it's a storage house. We can dump more bacteria in there. And also, it turns out now it looks like it helps help fight cancer. So with the appendix out, you probably need it out. Most doctors don't take it out for no reason. What you got to do is make sure you keep your bacteria, the colon, your bacteria, very healthy. So Dr. Joe's probiotics, super greens, essential source, plant-based diet, you should be fine. You just don't want to stress your immune digestive system any more than you need to.
Is having the wrong kind of bacteria or building up too much of the wrong bacteria part of the reason why we have our appendix removed?
It's usually due to an infection in there, so it could be a bacterial issue. Absolutely, yes. Oh, I thought there was a call for us.
I have one more question.
Okay, you better have more.
What is the cause of anxiety in my stomach? Only when I wake up. After getting up, it goes away.
Okay, let's talk about that when we come back on the air, because acid reflux is coming up, and I'm going to talk about that whole breakdown extensively with the breakdown of proteins into amino acids to produce neurotransmitters and the anxiety and the acid reflux, and we'll talk about that. So hold on for that one. I don't want to go over it again and then go to do it again where I'll call her. So.
Okay, that's all I got for now.
Same.
That's all you got? Come on,
very
social
chatty
media.
tonight, guys.
I know, where is everybody? Usually you guys have like tons and tons of questions lined up. We can't get to them all. We got a lot of callers though.
Yeah, which is good.
Goes from social media to callers to social media. There's all this. Oh.
I eat cabbage 3 to 4 days a week. Can I steam out the nutrients?
Yes, you can steam out the nutrients. And cabbage has natural probiotics in it. That's why we make kimchi and sauerkraut out of it. It has those probiotics in there. So if you're cooking it, it's okay, but try to eat some raw as well.
I just got a bunch of questions. Apparently, Instagram was listening. So, hi, Doc. My name is Yawa.
Hello, Yawa.
What's your thoughts about vitamin B17 as a supplement?
Well, we called it Laetril to treat cancer a while ago. B17 comes from the big one is apricot seeds, and it was used for cancer treatments down in Mexico. I remember. It's okay. I don't think we need it. I don't think it's that important. I don't take it. If I needed it, I think if I thought I would need it, I would be taking it. So the research on cancer is, I don't know, vague at best. Let's say I don't think it's really necessary. It really isn't a vitamin. It's kind of like a false name in there.
And then one more. Well, actually, a few more. Any natural ways to treat anxiety and depression?
We're coming up on that,
we'll
folks.
Cover that.
Yes, I promise you. Keep hanging on. We're going to cover that. We'll do it in the next segment then for you guys. Okay?
This is kind of easy. In efforts to avoid aluminum, is it safe to bake on aluminum pans?
Nope. That's an easy one. Glass. Glass or Pyrex is what you want to do. You don't want to use aluminum pans for anything, including aluminum foil. So.
Okay.
What are your pots and pans made out of?
Mine? I've got a really good high quality stainless steel.
So do we.
Mm-hmm.
Were you just making sure stainless steel was okay?
His roundabout way of finding out if he was doing it right. Yeah. I'm onto your game, mister.
How is kimchi and kombucha for the gut? I eat them every day and I don't get sick.
Excellent. Now with kombucha, again, it has to be pasteurized. So if you can make your own, even better. And with kimchi, if it's commercial, it has to be pasteurized as well. So if you make your own, it's even better still.
Maybe not how is it for the gut, but how does
Oh,
it?
it's loaded with probiotics. I'm sorry, loaded with probiotics, both of them. The
Well,
good
of course,
bacteria.
it could have been either way. I
Yes.
just took it the other way.
Oh, we answered both of them.
Okay, how do you take milk thistle for liver cleanse?
We have a company called Standard Process that we use milk thistle, and they extract it out. They use an alcohol base, and they extract out the components of the milk thistle. And so it's a liquid. You take it that way, and it works really well. Believe me. If you take too much, you'll get a headache, and you'll know it's working.
And do you have a good joint supplement?
Yes. Oh, yeah, we got Super Greens, Essential Source. But the key with joint supplements, you need chiropractic care. So if the bones are out of alignment, you got to put them back in alignment. All the supplements in the world aren't going to put the bones back in alignment. So even if they're working and the bones are out of place, you can wear out again. So chiropractic care, and then we have some other joint supplements we can recommend there. But if you don't put it back in place, I don't know what joint supplements to recommend.
So basically call the office.
Call the office, 844-44 Dr. Joe.
That Holly gives her dogs.
Glucosamine.
I had somebody call in the other day at the office asking about glucosamine.
That's a good supplement for dogs. You give it to your dogs
Yeah.
for hips and stuff. I don't know if humans take it too.
Got Slade.
Yeah, the problem with glucosamine or anything that comes from a cartilage is the animals will store lead in the cartilage in the bone. So you got to make sure
that's
it's.
where it comes from.
Here we go.
Listen to him sooner. Dr. Joe Esposito on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you could spend a little time with us today. Good show today. A lot of callers, a lot of questions. We're talking about the gut-brain connection and how the body works by sending messages along the vagus nerve. And serotonin is produced in the gut and the brain, and the serotonin is that happy neurotransmitter. It makes you happy and focus. And that's why when we have things like ADD, ADHD, anxiety, depression, many times we see a digestive issue. And we got a couple of callers that we're not going to put on the air, but a couple of callers and people sent in questions about this. So let me cover this right now, and then I'm going to get to your questions, Chris and Neil. I'm going to get to you guys next. What happens is your stomach's job is to take proteins and break them into amino acids. So the stomach dissolves proteins into amino acids. The amino acid tryptophan becomes serotonin in your brain and your gut. Serotonin in the brain becomes melatonin, which helps you sleep. So many times we have anxiety, depression, bipolar. I've even had suicidal patients. Every one of them, 100%, 34 years of practice, every one of them has a digestive problem that's never been either diagnosed or treated. And so what we do when we find people with acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, these are the people that usually aren't breaking down their proteins properly. We can take the stomach and adjust it. We can pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. And when we do, the stomach relaxes, and then it's able to mix its digestive enzymes with the proteins that you're eating and dissolve them into amino acids and then produce the neurotransmitters. Tyrosine becomes dopamine. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that gives you pleasure. So many times if we have anxiety, depression, we're not experiencing pleasure in life. Something that used to give you a thrill, no matter what it is. Not that interested anymore. So once we can get those dopamine levels back up to normal, the body works in a more efficient way. And the way we do that is by giving the brain or the digestive system the raw materials it needs to make the neurotransmitters. And we do that by fixing the digestive system. So if you have heartburn, acid reflux, burping, gas, bloating, if you're ticklish, this is a cool thing. If you're ticklish, you're protecting your digestive system, especially if it pokes you in the side and you're ticklish. So if we can fix the digestive system, pull the stomach away from the diaphragm, get you on some good foods, balance out the bacteria, most of the ticklishness goes away. Isn't that amazing? So ticklishness travels along something called the lateral spinal thalamic tract in your spine and your brain. And it's the same tract or the same nerve pathway that carries pain. So ticklishness is a way you're protecting yourself. If I hurt you, you're going to pull away from me. If I tickle you, you're going to pull away from me. So why people feel ticklishness and some feel pain, we haven't figured that one out yet. But we do know it travels along the same nerve. So if you have these problems, acid reflux, heartburn, digestive issues, many times if we fix the colon, we pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. I get people on a mostly plant-based diet, Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, Dr. Joe's Probiotics. Those are all on the website, drjoe.com. And once we get people balanced, eating something raw every meal, at least once a meal, or one raw meal a day like a salad, many, many cases in a very short period of time, people come in going, Doc, you're a miracle worker. You saved my life. And, my team of doctors are all trained by me, so they all do the same things I do. And it's just amazing. And it breaks my heart, and I'm sure it breaks your heart too, when you see someone who has these issues and no one's addressing it. And I'm not against medication. Folks, if you need medication, absolutely positively take it. But our goal in our office is to try to get to the cause of the problem, not just treat the symptoms. I'm okay treating the symptoms as long as you have a game plan to get it fixed. And from a chiropractic standpoint, we check the nervous system. We want to make sure you don't have pinched nerves because the nerves control everything. So if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, chances are there's a pinched nerve. We need to fix that. Number 2, we got to fix the digestive system, either adjust the stomach and or get you on a good diet, balance out the bacteria. And then once the body starts to heal, you're able to start experiencing normalcy, something that a lot of people don't experience. So that's how the connection between the brain and the gut goes. We've got a lot more to cover as far as that goes, but let me take some more callers here. I don't want people holding too long. Neil, how can we make your day better?
How are you doing tonight, Doc?
I'm well, Neil.
I'm so glad you brought up a subject that you went into more detail a couple of weeks ago. Environmental and dietary xenoestrogens, especially as found in meat and dairy products, which you explained cause a host of pathologies, not limited to weight gain, even carcinomas.
Sure.
Now, if that's the case, could you please explain the discrepancy between the popularity and any efficacy in the use of growth hormone precursor therapy, and supplementation, touted for a whole panacea of cures, including baldness, and the major source of these things, I believe you already know, would be porcine, pituitary, glandular.
Got it. Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
Yes. Okay.
I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thanks, Neil. Okay, so growth hormones, a lot of times we use that in animal products. We use it in plants, too. And we use it because it makes the plant grow, which is kind of cool. And that, oops, we got it. There we go. Drop Neil there. And we give it to cows, we give it to pigs, give it to chickens because it makes the animals grow faster. And now in chickens, we can't use growth hormones, but we can use antibiotics, which can act like growth hormones. So when you put those in the body, and when you put them in your body, it has an adverse effect in many cases. He used the word xenoestrogen. Xenoestrogen means foreign. Xeno meaning foreign, like xenophobia, fear of foreigners. Xenoestrogens are foreign estrogens. Now, estrogen is a growth hormone. It makes things grow. So if we're putting xenoestrogens into our body, it can stimulate the estrogen receptor sites and cause abnormal cell growth. And that's my concern, because now we're messing with Mother Nature. If you're old enough to remember, there was a commercial. It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. And so, yeah, you can make things grow bigger. You know, chickens are killed around 6 to 8 weeks, and if they're raised on a farm, it takes about 6 to 8 months to get to the same size. And the reason is we do growth-stimulating things like antibiotics, and that becomes real dangerous. Because now we don't know what's going to happen when you put these things into your body. Now, if you eat it once or twice, it's not that big a deal. It's probably not going to cause any problems. But when you eat it on a regular basis, that's a big issue. And xenoestrogens aren't only found in animal products. Xenoestrogens can be found in fragrances, perfumes, hairsprays, carpet cleaners, the things you plug into the wall that make your house smell nice, new car smell, plastic shower curtains. These chemicals called phthalates are also xenoestrogens, and they affect the body. So this is why one of the best things you can do for yourself is try to eat more organic, especially if you're eating animal products. So if you're going to eat animal products, I recommend organic only, or don't eat them. Now, I haven't had an animal product in probably about 34 years. So far, so good. And I always joke, if you knew what I knew, you would do what I do. It's just that simple. Now, I'm not asking you to do this. I'm not asking you to go vegan or anything like that, but I just want you to make better choices. And with plants, the same thing. If we spray chemicals on the plants, as weed killers or anti-fungus chemicals, when they get into your body, they can have an adverse reaction. And so that's the whole thing, the whole big concern now with genetically modified foods. We can alter the food so that we can spray chemicals on it and kill the weeds, but not the food. And they look alike, and they sort of taste, they don't even taste the same if organic versus non-organic. But the big concerns I have are corn and soy. Those are the ones that are mostly genetically modified. So just be careful with that, folks, because we're starting to see the studies come out now. It doesn't look good for genetically modified foods. Chances are 5 years from now, we're going to have a Dr. Joe Was Right show, and we're going to be talking about genetically modified foods and how I was right all along. Even when they first came out, I was talking about them. So organic is always going to be your best bet because you're not going to have those chemicals, steroids, hormones, antibiotics, pesticides, herbicides, and tranquilizers, and you won't have to worry about it. It's pretty simple. If you want to smell nice, you can use something called essential oils, pure essential oils. They work great if you like the nice smells, and they have some medicinal value as well. Folks, got to go to a break. If you have a healthcare question, 844-44-Dr. We're talking about the brain, the gut, serotonin, anxiety, depression, the vagus nerve. We're going to talk about Parkinson's in the gut. Lot coming up. So if you have a question, the number here at the studio is 844-44-Dr. Joe, and that number rings through to my offices when we're not on the air. So if you'd like to make an appointment to come see us, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, chiropractic issues, we'd love to see you. And if you've ever been in a car accident, ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. I don't care if it was yesterday or 10 years ago. You need to see us as soon as possible. Car accidents, folks. You're going to regret it if you don't. Again, a number, 844-44-Dr. Joe. We'll be right back. If you're like most people, you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches. Maybe it's time to stop suffering and it's time to take action. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, why don't you come see me and my team of doctors and let's see if you have a problem that we can help.
844.
Go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr.Joe to make an appointment today because so many of you are out there suffering needlessly.
The clock that he has a
Put
little.
stop to that.
Most
Come
people
see us
do
at our
a
offices
different
at
clock.
Marietta, Stockbridge, and Duluth. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
Are you scared?
There we go.
Is it cold in here to y'all?
It was a little chilly, yeah.
I just walked out and walked back in, and I was like, whoa.
Well, you could raise the temperature over there. Why don't you raise it up a little bit? Another 5 degrees.
Yeah, I asked him, what are the promos? And he's like, they're at the 20 and the 10 and the.
Well, that's because our clock, it's called. My gosh, look at all these callers today. We take breaks different than most shows because of our national syndication. We have to meet other people's clocks. So he's right. We just messed it up. We'll do it right next time. Questions?
I have one quick question. Does your probiotic work better at bedtime or during the day?
You want to do it on an empty stomach if you can. So if you eat, wait 3 or 4 hours and then take the probiotic before you go to bed, it's awesome. If not, you can take it first thing in the morning, wait about a half hour, and then eat.
It was always best for me taking a probiotic right when I woke up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like supplements early in the morning so then I don't forget them. Like even today, I was out, I was hiking and everything, and I got back and I went, I didn't take my supplements yet. So then I took them middle of the day, but I remembered. Otherwise, I would have forgotten. So I did not take them.
Sierra was able to take probiotics all the time.
Yeah, like it was actually, I had like anxiety-induced stomach problems. And probiotics are what helped.
Amazing, right? There you go.
But but like once I had the anxiety under control, I didn't have stomach problems anymore.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Did the probiotics with prebiotics help the psychology of it, or kind of like the chemicals in the brain of it, or well, I guess in the gut.
Not the other way around. It's usually the gut that affects the brain, not the brain affecting the gut. Yeah.
But I was just wondering,
because the probiotics is what saved my stomach.
Did the probiotics change her mood, or did it change?
They changed my stomach, which changed my
mood. There you go. Pretty smart, you should go out with that girl. I'll talk to her. I'll see what I can do for you. She's pretty picky, though, I hear. So.
Yes. Any recommendations for pancreatitis?
Well, pancreas produces insulin, but the pancreas also produces amylase, lipase, and protease, the digestive enzymes. And so when you got to take the stress off the pancreas so it can heal. So I would suggest certainly no sugars, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, no processed sugars. Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes and Dr. Joe's probiotics. Digestive enzymes, if you're taking them, your pancreas gets a chance to heal. If you're constantly eating and it has to keep producing enzymes, it doesn't get a chance to heal. So usually super greens, essential source, probiotics, and digestive enzymes work pretty well for that. But you got to change your diet as well. Don't expect that to be the miracle cure. You got to do a little work too. And then from a chiropractic standpoint, adjust right there because that's the nerve to the pancreas, the 6th thoracic vertebrae.
Okay, how do you fix hormonal imbalance?
Somebody's got that same. Oh, they disappear. Hormonal imbalances. That was the question they had up there too. We get so many callers. They come and go here. You got to straighten out the gut. You got to straighten out the diet. It's a whole. You got to get chiropractic care to open up the nerves to the organs. So that's the protocol we put patients on. We get the nervous system working, the nerves going to the endocrine system. We get the gut straightened out. We get the diet straightened out, and then in most cases, the hormones start to rebalance themselves. And then we'll do a workup with you, and if we need to, we can also get some specific supplements just for you. But you need to come see us for that.
What are your thoughts on colloidal silver?
I'm okay with colloidal silver. Just be careful with it. Don't take too much of it. Too much of it will actually make you turn blue.
I told my dad that when he said that.
Oh, yeah? Oh, that's right. Your dad takes it a lot, yeah.
Because he has diverticulitis.
Yeah.
He's got to take care of himself.
Okay. Well, diverticulitis isn't.
But he didn't believe Garrett. Garrett was like, because Garrett always messes with him. And he was like, be careful, don't take too much of this, you'll turn blue. And he was like, haha, yeah, right. And I was like, no, Dr. Joe was actually just talking about that.
I think if you do enough shows with me, after maybe 100 to 200 shows, then you can fill in for me. Okay?
We'll see.
Still won't be able to talk as fast.
Definitely not. I don't talk enough to compete with Dr. Joe.
We can answer the questions for us when they send it through the website then. So Sierra did a great job answering questions today. Thank you.
I can direct people.
Okay, here we go.
Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito. SB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. Talking about the brain-gut connection, and boy, phones are lighting up. We're getting tons of hits on Instagram and Facebook and social media. So obviously a hot topic here. And why? Because everybody's got some digestive issues. Nobody talks about it. I always say it's not first date conversation, right? Hi, Joe. Nice to meet you. A little gassy today. It's not things people talk about. But your digestive system is so important to make sure it's working properly. And you got to take care of it. And if you don't take care of it, it's going to mess you up. It always, always, always does. And it affects the mood. Sierra, can I tell your story, what you just said off the air? Sierra was saying that she had a lot of anxiety, and we got her on some good probiotics, and it took a while. How long did it take, Sierra?
Probably about 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8, okay. Update. You're talking to the mic there.
It's probably about 6 to 8 weeks.
And then it's stabilized, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you notice the difference when you don't take the probiotics.
Yeah, big difference, yeah. And so Garrett said, did the brain affect the gut or the gut affect the brain? And the answer is both. Because your brain controls your gut and your gut controls your brain. And so if you're not balancing it out and taking care of the gut, you broke one of the links in the chain there, and it's not going to work. But in Sierra's case, we got her on some good probiotics, and it solved the problem. So that's why if you go to website, drjoe.com, one of our big supplements is Dr. Joe's probiotics, because people take it because it works. And now if you've taken antibiotics as a medicine, of course you need to take it. One of our patients, we talked about this, I think, last week, she had a lung transplant. She had cystic fibrosis, had a lung transplant, and they had her on digestive enzymes. And it was one her doctor had prescribed, and it wasn't working well. She was in the bathroom constantly. And once we got her on Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes, within 2 days, she came in and she was almost in tears. And she said, oh, my gosh, what a difference. My bowels are working normally. I feel better. My energy's up. So, yeah, quality is important. My grandfather always said, always buy the best. It's always cheaper. And that's how I feel about my supplements. I can take any supplements I want in the world. I take the ones that we have, Dr. Joe's, because I make sure that they're the best of the best, in my opinion. So that's why I think that's important you consider that. But again, the brain can control the gut, and the gut can control the brain. And we got a lot of callers. I'm going to start taking them. And then once I catch up on the callers, we're going to talk about what can go wrong. And people with IBS. How many people have IBS? Raise your hands. A lot of you do. I can't see you, by the way. I'm on the radio. Don't raise your hands. But if you have IBS, we're going to talk about the connection between IBS and anxiety and what the researchers have found now. And we'll put this again in the Dr. Joe Was Right column because we talked about this years ago. Chris, how can we make your day better?
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Joe?
Very well.
I'm a first-time listener. My brother actually just referred me over to you. I have really bad acid reflux.
Yes.
And, I was listening to what you were saying earlier, incorporating, like salad and different things into the diet definitely helps. Mine was actually so extreme where I guess at some point when I wasn't eating salad during any given day, at nighttime I go to bed and it felt like I was having a heart attack.
Sure.
It was literally when I was about to fall asleep, I had to catch my breath. I had chest pounding.
Yep.
And I even went to the hospital several different times, for that reason. But, I guess it's kind of an extreme version. I don't really get heartburn that much, but it's just more or less just, the breathing issue. And I'm thinking it's all tied into the reflux.
It absolutely is, yeah. I had that for years. I remember one of my earliest memories of being a child is laying in bed and feeling my heart stop. It would go bop, 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 and then stop, and then start again. And I thought, well, everybody has this. You're a kid. Whatever you have, you assume everybody has. But we talked about the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve controls the gut. It also has some control over the heart. So if the stomach is pushing up against the diaphragm, it's affecting the vagus nerve, which can cause rapid heart rate, AFib, high blood pressure. Not the only cause of those things, but certainly one of the most common causes. And on our website, drjoe.com, our most popular article is the one I wrote on GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, which is what we're talking about. And it's under blogs. I think it's actually the first article. We moved it to the top. It's so popular. But what we do is we want to take the stomach and adjust it or pull it down away from the diaphragm. Then there's a little valve called the lower esophageal sphincter in your diaphragm, which closes, and that prevents food from refluxing back up into the throat. The reason it's worse at night is because when you lay down, you don't have gravity assisting pulling your stomach down. So when you lay down, your stomach pushes up, and then it gets worse. So by adjusting the stomach, and then we have to check the nerve supply to the stomach. Patients come in every now and then and say, Doc, I just want you to work on my stomach. I say, well, it's not going to give you all the results you want because we got to fix the nerves that control the stomach as well from a chiropractic standpoint, adjust the spine. And then we get you on a good diet. And in most cases, Chris, people want to name their kids after us because it's just amazing, the results. And we have an office not far from you. So if you want to come see us, we'd be more than happy to see you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Does it help to sleep on your left side? I've heard that helps too.
It helps some people. It doesn't help some people. And the bottom line is let's just fix it and you don't have to worry about what side you sleep on. So.
Right.
Okay, so give us a call at this number, Chris, 844-44-Dr.Joe. Just give a call during regular business hours. We'll get you set up, okay?
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it. And, folks, if we could never see another chiropractic patient again, and my team of doctors, in the Atlanta area, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. And if we could never see another chiropractic patient again in all the years that we have, hopefully we have many, many years in practice to come, we could build practices just on digestive issues. Because so many people have this acid reflux and a heartburn and a burping and esophagitis. That may be a diagnosis you may have been diagnosed with. The acid comes up into the throat and it irritates the esophagus. And many people lose their voice. They get chronic sinus infections. The acid goes up into the sinuses. Chronic sore throat, chronic cough. Many times those are symptoms that the stomach is out of alignment. And we can actually physically adjust the stomach. Now, we co-manage the case. If you have a medical doctor or gastroenterologist, we'll co-manage the case with the doctors to make sure you're getting the best care possible. But my goal is to get you the best care we possibly can. Now, folks, if you're on hold, I'm going to come to a break pretty soon. I'll come back to you after the break, so keep holding on. I do want to talk about this study they did with IBS patients. IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, affects 1 in 10 people. And the problem is there's nothing really wrong. They can't find anything wrong, or else they call it, other things, a colitis or other diagnoses. But the irritable bowel syndrome means something's wrong with your gut. We can't figure out what it is in many cases. So one theory that's proposed is that the dysfunction is the information between the gastrointestinal tract and the brain. What could cause that? Well, it could be the intestinal wall. The nerves in your intestinal wall may be super sensitive. So then when you irritate it, when you eat things like alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, artificial sweetener, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, it irritates the lining of the wall, creating irritable bowel syndrome. So the simplest thing we can do for IBS patients is, number one, we get them off wheat and dairy products. Those are the two foods that are going to cause the most irritation. Number two, we have to check the nerves in the low back. The nerves in the low back control everything from the waist down. Back pain, leg pain, hip pain, knee pain, ankle pain. It's the same nerve that controls your colon, sex organs, and bladder. So many times when you have low back issues, you might have gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, urinary, sexual problems, prostate issues. So from a chiropractic standpoint, we always check the nerves to the organ. Then we may have to massage or get the colon to relax. We can do adjustments on the gut. And then we get the body straightened out. We get you at least on Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, probiotics, and digestive enzymes. All the supplements we talk about, folks, are on the website, drjoe.com. But if you're not going to do anything else, please get on Super Greens and Essential Source. They're on the website, drjoe.com. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, call 844-44-Dr. We want to be your doctors. We want to help you get well and stay well. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Hey, do me a favor. Tell your friends about the show. We're going to be right back.
Why do we call it? Why do we call it? Triple Team.
There. Okay, Banky. Long break here.
I've got a couple of really good questions.
I've got a few good ones too. You can start. We'll go
Fight.
So first off, my cholesterol was over 220. Statins caused my leg to hurt at night. Mm-hmm. What should I take to get my cholesterol down without the leg pain?
Okay, well, when you take statin drugs, the enzyme that produces cholesterol also produces something called coenzyme Q10. So CoQ10 is something you definitely want to take if you're taking statin drugs. I don't know why that just isn't standard across the board. And a lot of doctors from listening to the show have now made it their standard process, cardiologists and primaries. When somebody's on statin, they put them on CoQ10, absolutely. In order to get the cholesterol down, we have a question. Rachel has a question. L-arginine hydrochloride. Oh, man, you wrote all this down here?
Yeah.
What does she want to know about it? Are these harmful in any way?
Did she spell it right?
No, not even close.
I was going to get you a bell.
Rachel has the Belinda Skelton syndrome. You do not get a bell, Rachel. No bell for you. Nope. Neil Borch used to call it the Belinda syndrome because she was the worst speller. So, Lysine hydrochloride, arginine. This is way too much to discuss on here. I'll have to tell her that Cola would like to know. Yeah. Okay. So statin drugs. You gotta take the stress off the liver. So super green's an essential source, absolutely positively at a minimum. I would probably get you on some milk thistle as well. We have a really good milk thistle at the office. It's not a Dr. Joe product, but it's another product that's really good. You got to go to a plant-based diet. The simplest, easiest thing you can do is go to a plant-based diet, which is fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. Got to cut out the animal products. You got to cut out the bad fats. So like the corn oil, soy oil, vegetable oil. Just got to cut those out altogether. And what usually happens is then the liver starts to heal. So super greens essential source, the CoQ10, the milk thistle, and probably nitric oxide as well. Nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels and it helps with brain function, sexual function, athletic function. So you want to get on the nitric oxide as well, but that's going to open up the blood supply to your liver and flush the junk out. So that's what I would recommend. And we've done several shows on cholesterol. If you go to my website, drjoe.com, just you can put it in a search bar or look at the shows. I know we've done many, many shows on cholesterol. So. Okay.
All right,
I
one
have
more.
one.
Fight.
This is before the Instagram goes away because we only have a few
Oh, we're gonna
minutes.
lose it, yeah.
Kid seasonal allergies, what can I do?
Wheat and dairy, absolutely. You got to fix their digestive systems. If they're not breaking proteins into amino acids, they absorb these big chunks of proteins, and that causes an allergic reaction. So if they have acid reflux, heartburn, stinky stools, if they're ticklish, bring them in to come see us. Got to cut out the wheat, got to cut out the dairy products, and get them on super greens and essential source.
All right, Instagram, we are going to go away for 1 second, and
We'll be right back, I promise.
Okay. My daughter is gluten and dairy intolerant.
Good.
Her thyroid was taken out a few years ago.
Yes.
And she's taking VLS3 probiotic.
Okay.
It's quite expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Digestive enzyme, a B complex, vitamin D. She's on collagen and very hard to be gluten-free. She is in college, and it's very hard to be gluten-free and dairy-free. She can also suffer from anxiety and sleeping problems.
Yeah.
Sounds like somebody I know. What does she need to take? Liners?
Let me answer this question, I'll do my liners. Sounds like she's doing great. She might have to come see us to fix the stomach, pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. Many times that's the issue with anxiety and depression. She's just got to go gluten-free. She really doesn't have an option there. There's nothing you can really do instead of that. She's got to go gluten and dairy-free. Sounds like you're doing a real good job with the supplements, though. That's really good. And so that's where I would go with that. She's got to get gluten and dairy and come see us. And the super greens is an essential source.
There's something you could do, because I have several friends that are very, very gluten intolerant, and they often always, when we go out to eat, make a mistake and eat something that has dairy in it, and then find out 20 minutes later that it has dairy or gluten. What can you do at that point?
At that point, it's really tough. You can take digestive enzymes, you can take super greens and essential source, and hopefully the body will help there. But the digestive enzymes are going to be huge for that. Yeah. All right, folks, I got to do liners, so don't go anywhere. Liners we're syndicated around the country, so I got to do these commercials basically.
Since the creek itself is out of the bank so far, you couldn't tell which one was supposed to be the main channel.
So when you follow us on social media, you get to see behind the scenes stuff.
Very cool.
I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and this week we're talking about the brain-gut connection, how it affects your moods and how it affects your health. Dr. Joe Esposito here. This week on my show, we're talking about the gut-brain connection and the things you need to know on how it's affecting your health and your moods. Hey, we're talking about talking about your butt. Okay. We're talking about the gut-brain connection and the things you need to do to heal your gut, which can help heal your brain. This week on the Dr. Joe Show. Okay, Banky, we're back.
I had one question on Instagram. I don't really. They said, can organic food help you gain weight? I mean.
Not really. If you want to gain weight, a lot of nuts, a lot of avocados, a lot of seeds. Those are the things that we want to gain weight. And then if you're not absorbing your food properly, if you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, you probably need to come see us so we can fix your stomach so you can absorb the nutrients. But number one question we get is weight loss. Number two question we get is weight gain. So,
All right.
okay.
Have you?
2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Have you ever heard of MSM sulfur?
Yes.
What do you think?
It's good. Absolutely, it's okay. Just make sure you get the highest quality there is because you don't want to have any toxic chemicals in there. Okay?
Now, a related question to the aluminum pans. Is it safe to bake a baked potato in aluminum foil?
Nope. No bell for that. Nope, stay away from aluminum. Bottom line, stay away from aluminum. It's bad. We have absolutely zero requirement for aluminum in your body. And whenever it gets into the body, it's a heavy metal. It can cause brain function and nerve function. And
aren't there a lot of things like saying that Alzheimer's is linked to
can be linked to aluminum.
aluminum
Absolutely.
poisoning in
Yep.
the brain?
Yep, the prions that build up in the brain due to aluminum toxicity in the brain, yes. Prions are proteins that happen in Alzheimer's patients.
So how do you detox aluminum?
It's tough.
Or metals like that?
Actually, you can do a cilantro. Cilantro changes the molecular, the bond, the chemical bond, the charges, the positive and negative charges, because aluminum bonds into the cells with electrical charges. And cilantro, you got a lot, like a handful or two a day. It can break that electrical charge, and then you take Dr. Joe's intestinal cleanser to flush it out.
Like just putting cilantro in a salad?
Yeah, you got to eat a lot of it. It's not like a couple of sprigs and it's going to do it. You got to eat, maybe a bunch a day. Yeah, which is great for you.
Like
Tacos
a cup
every day.
A cup of cilantro or
Yes,
something like
yes,
that?
you need to make Garrett a salad of cilantro every day. Okay, that's your job now.
Big taco salad.
I can just add it up into the super greens and essential source.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Just mix it right in, man. Yep. Because cilantro has something in it that actually changes the chemical bonds.
That's weird.
I know, isn't that weird? What else you got for me, cowboy?
Learn something new every day, especially with Dr. Joe around.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was for me, and I was like,
Oh, no, I think we're coming up.
letting something go right over my head, and then it just occurred to me that you probably were waving.
Oh, no, I was waving, yeah. We got a big window here, and everybody leaves the studio and waves to us, so we got to wave to everybody. All right, we got this. We should be coming back after this, so. Again, if we don't get to your questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Sierra will be more than happy to answer them for you.
Great at it.
She rocks. Quick hour. Wasn't it a quick hour?
Putting cilantro in juice work as well?
Sure. Absolutely.
I'm WSB meteorologist Kirk Mellish with
Don't cook it. Do it raw, though.
dependable forecast.
With cilantro.
Tonight, mostly clear.
So you guys get all the secret stuff that we don't do on the air. So you guys get all these little secret twists and information.
And you get to hear me sneeze and cough.
My favorite.
I hold all of that in.
Brought to you on WSB by Virtual Imaging.
This program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. We're talking about the brain-gut connection. And I know I've covered this in different ways before, but what we're talking about today is the research that's out that's showing that Dr. Joe was right. All the things we've talked about all these years, the research just keeps pouring in, saying that Dr. Joe was right, how the brain controls the gut and the gut controls the brain, and the bacteria in your colon, it's interesting now, might be able to talk to the brain, and not sure yet, Wi-Fi. Everything travels along the vagus nerve, but what seems to be finding that there may be some connection between gut cells being able to tell the brain how to work, and it actually can control your subconscious. Your gut can get signals which your brain responds to, and that's part of your subconscious brain. So your ability to think positive thoughts and feel emotionally uplifted are associated with chemical messengers like serotonin, and serotonin becomes melatonin, which helps you sleep. So the connection there is just becoming more and more obvious, which is wonderful because now we know that we have to start looking to the gut for problems. And I did promise you as a tease earlier on the possibility that the two organs may actually share a disease. And that disease is Parkinson's. Many diseases, but one of them is Parkinson's. That's a degenerative neurological disease that may actually originate in the gut. So I'm going to leave you hanging on that because I want to take some callers at 844-44-Dr. Joe. When we come back, we're going to talk about how the researchers found this and why Parkinson's may actually be a gut issue. So let's start taking some callers. If you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe. Lindsay, how can we make your day better?
Hi there. How are you?
I'm happy you called. Doing great, Lindsay.
Awesome. I have very dry skin.
Yes.
And it really is disgusting to look at my skin. Is there anything, supplement I can take to...
Sure. Yeah, what usually happens with dry skin, whenever I see skin conditions, I always think liver and gut. So we got to get the gut going. So do you have a bad diet? Do you drink alcohol a lot? Anything like that?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, so a couple of things then. We got to get you on some good fats. Go ahead.
Using quite a bit.
Oh, good. Excellent. Okay. So you might want to add some coconut oil to your diet, maybe a tablespoon or two every day to get it inside the body, organic extra virgin coconut oil. You can rub coconut oil on the skin, which works wonders. And if you put a couple of drops of tea tree oil in the coconut oil, works wonders for the skin. Then we got to get
and
you...
what type of oil was that?
Tea tree, Teatree, tea tree. Okay?
Okay.
And rub that on the skin and then take about 2 tablespoons a day, anytime you want throughout the day. Then you got to get on Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, and Dr. Joe's Probiotics, because that's going to help the bacteria in your colon, and about 70% of your immune system is in your digestive system. So that should help tremendously. If the bowels aren't moving 2 to 3 times a day, you might want to get Dr. Joe's Intestinal Cleanser. That should be on the website very soon. We ran out, unfortunately, but it's good because everyone loves it so much. And once we do that, the body should start working. And start eating some more fatty foods, nuts, avocados, because usually when you have dry skin, it's a liver and a fat issue. Okay?
Okay.
There we go, Lindsay. Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
thank you so much.
Yeah, and folks, the supplements we talk about, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, which, by the way, the minimum supplements you should be taking every day. Everything is on the website. The probiotics, the nitric oxide. I didn't talk about this yet, but I went for a big hike, and I took some nitric oxide, and I tell you, it was amazing. I was just skipping up the stairs. It was a big mountain up in North Georgia. And it's amazing, the nitric oxide, because it opens up the blood supply to your brain, to your muscles. So many patients, and my friend Tim swears by it. He said, whenever he goes to the gym, he said, I take that nitric oxide, man, I'm getting a better workout. It's faster. He says, I feel great. So the nitric oxide opens up your blood vessels. A couple of warnings with it. Number one, if you take it and you're on high blood pressure medication, monitor your blood pressure, because it may lower your blood pressure naturally, and then you got to be careful. You don't want to take too much, because then you may need to talk to your doctor about cutting back on your medication, which, of course, is the ideal situation. I can't take it at night. It gives me way too much energy. So I have to take it in the morning is when I take it. But it increases circulation to all parts of your body, including the reproductive organs. It's going to keep it clean. It's a family show. And a lot of people report when they take this, they're very, very happy from the romantic standpoint, because things start to work for men and women. We all need good circulation for that. So the nitric oxide is a great supplement, and that's on the website too, drjoe.com. And then somebody sent a message, they didn't want to go on the air, about energy, adrenal support. The adrenal glands produce energy. They produce your hormones, your sex hormones, and they produce anti-inflammatories. And I just got a message on my website today about that. And I said, what can I do about this? If the testosterone is low, adrenal support, Super Greens Essential Source, and nitric oxide really helps get those things flowing again, because the adrenal glands produce testosterone along with in men, the testicles. And if we can keep those adrenal glands strong, usually we can balance out a lot of the hormone issues for men and women, because it produces the women's issues as well, sex organs as well. Let me take a few more calls. Going to talk about Parkinson's. Got to get back to that. We'll take another call real quick. Sean, how can we make your day better?
Dr. Joe, how are you, sir?
I'm happy, sir.
Well, how you can make my day better is I have a question about holy basil.
Yes.
A friend takes it and swears by it, and before I decided to start taking it, I figured I'd call you, as I've called you in the past.
Yes.
He says it kind of takes the edge off of things, talks him off the edge, so to speak, and also helps him sleep at night.
Yes, very good for controlling emotions and calming people down. It's one of those great supplements out there. Once again, make sure you get a quality brand. Don't get the cheap stuff. But when it comes to things like holy basil for calming people down and sleeping, you always got to check the digestive system, because you may need the holy basil because it's a digestive problem. So if you fix the gut, you may not need the holy basil. But holy basil is great.
All right, so not against holy basil, but definitely check the gut first.
There you go. Now you got the answer. Good job, Sean.
I've learned from listening to you.
You're a smart man, Sean. Keep listening. Tell your friends too, okay?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it. And folks, by the way, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, because a lot of times we live stream our shows, and you get to see my pretty face. And then at the break, sometimes we'll go ahead and answer some questions off the air too. So you could listen during the radio and then follow us there as well. But just follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. And do me a favor, send me your email address, And the reason is we send out a newsletter, not very often, because Garrett's self-proclaimed lazy, and he doesn't send them out often, right, Garrett? So
about once a month.
Okay, yeah, he's not going to bother
I'll
you.
come around to it.
Yeah. But we have sometimes we have special events that we have, special breakout lectures. Garrett sometimes will put some of the supplements on sale or free shipping or something. So send us your email address, and we'll get you on our email list as well. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. If you have a healthcare question, 844-44-Dr. Joe. If you want to make an appointment, come see us. You should. Stop suffering needlessly. Neck pain, back pain. Come see us, drjoe.com. And tell your friends about the show. Give us a call at 844-44-Dr. Joe. We'll be right back.
Does this sound like you, neck pain? Darn, I thought this was the break. Gotta remind me.
Yeah, I had the pad ready to go.
Yes, gotta remind me so I don't do too many promos here. I don't know if I'm gonna get to this one.
Okay, someone called and asked that you,
Or call 844-44-Dr.Joe and make an appointment for you, your friends, and your family today. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well.
It's a Home Fix-It tip from Dave
good.
Baker.
No, thank you.
Brought to
Good.
you by the Home Fix-It page.
Okay, remind me to cover that.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right, questions?
And remind me to...
Remind me. Remind him to remind me.
I'll just do everything, guys.
Handle it all, will you? Get up here. Do the show from now on. I'm leaving.
Okay, going back to our aluminum discussion before the last segment, what about deodorant?
Yes, bad. Well, deodorant doesn't have aluminum. Antiperspirant does. That's the difference. So never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, use antiperspirant. Do we have the recipe on the website for the own deodorant?
I thought so.
I think so
I'm
too.
Pretty sure we do.
Okay.
It was the tea that we didn't have.
Yeah. Okay. Make your own the ginger tea, right? Yeah. Make your own deodorant. Equal parts of shea butter, coconut oil, and baking soda. Put it in a double boiler. Mix it together. Add your favorite fragrance. Tea tree oil works well, and you can use that as a deodorant. It works great, and it's a lot cheaper than what you're doing in non-toxic. You could actually eat it. Not that you want to eat shea butter and baking soda, but you could. Wouldn't make you sick.
Probably be delicious.
It probably would be. Yum. It's paleo. It's keto. It would be actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, shea butter.
Let me see.
Oh, we'll call it paleo. You know what? Start promoting it as paleo deodorant. I bet you people go for it. Now I'm gonna package it and sell it. We're giving a recipe away for free. So. All right, next question, Sierra. Anything on your end?
I don't have anything on Instagram.
Oh, you Instagramians. Instagramites? What would they be called?
Instagram.
Instagramians or
Why don't you
Instagramites?
tell everybody what you were up to this weekend?
What was I up to this weekend? Let me see. Friday night, let me see. I called Tim, see if he wanted to go out to dinner. He was in Florida. I said, I assume that's a no. He said, that's correct. So then I went home. Saturday morning, I woke up. I did some laundry, changed my bed sheets, hiked. Oh, Mark Aaron, that was me. Took some great hikes up in North Georgia. Which was wonderful. I love going up there and all the waterfalls. It rained so much this week, so I went to North Georgia, did some hiking, which was great. That us? No. Okay. Today, what did I do today? Watch some football. Watch a show about sea monsters. And that was it. That was my weekend. Yeah, so.
We need to get back to like actually having television and not just Netflix because I miss watching like.
I love television,
especially like the Science Channel.
Oh yeah, I'm a junkie, man. Science Channel. If it's not on, I go to Netflix and say what's on the Science Channel. I did watch a Bird Box the other day with the one that everybody's talking about.
She won't watch that at night, and she won't watch documentaries at all. So
I will watch documentaries.
Okay. Bird Box was okay. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but it was still good.
Not that I'm saying Bird Box is.
No, he only says that I won't watch documentaries because he hates watching them with me because I talk.
Oh well, there you go. You can't talk in a documentary. It's a guy thing. Yeah.
That's your fault.
The Bird Box was okay. A little stressful, but it went a little too long. I think it could have been a half hour shorter. It would have been better, but it was not bad. And I like
about crystal salts for deodorant.
No, they have alum in it. Alum's aluminum, so no. Absolutely not.
Can you take too much vitamin D?
Yes. You want to do about 5,000 international units a day. Yes, you can take too much. Oh, Mark Aram. I keep hearing Jeff, our announcer. I hear his voice. I think he's talking about me. Us. Yeah, I'm not. The salts are kind of. I called up the company. I said, "Come on, alum is aluminum." I go, "No, it's a big molecule. It doesn't get absorbed into the body." I said, "But it has aluminum in it." So I didn't buy it, and I wouldn't use it. That's why you don't sweat, because it's aluminum, clogs up your pores. So that's why alum works.
Okay. Do you have any remedies for sagging under the eyes and dark circles?
Yes, that's adrenals. Adrenal support. You got Dr. Joe's Adrenal Support, Super Greens, an essential source.
Interesting.
And nitric oxide, too, to open up the blood supply.
I need to take some more of that.
Yeah, bags under the eyes is usually a sign of adrenal insufficiency.
Quick
I wish I
question.
could have taken a picture from when I was first started working here to now.
That would be cool, wouldn't
With
it? Yeah.
bags under my eyes.
Do you think Himalayan salt lamps actually work?
I have no idea, but they're not going to hurt you, so I'm okay with it. They're pretty. So, vertigo. Oh, scolopenia. That's not spelled right.
Go away. Listen to Dr. Joe Esposito on News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. Talking about the brain-gut disorders and how the brain and the gut actually control each other. And so many calls and questions on social media and calling into the studio about anxiety and depression. Absolutely, folks. That's what this show is all about today. We're talking about how the brain controls the gut and the gut controls the brain. And if you're doing things that are killing off the bacteria in your colon, antibiotics, using a lot of pesticides on non-organic foods, meats and dairy products that are fed low-grade antibiotics, it really messes up your digestive system. And that's why one of our big supplements that we have is Dr. Joe's probiotics, because they help rebuild the colon, the bacteria in your colon. But you also have to change your diet. You got to stop killing off this stuff. If we keep planting new seeds and you keep pulling out the seedlings, it's not going to get a good garden. And so you got to cut out those things that are wiping out the intestinal bacteria. And it affects the brain, which can affect anxiety and depression. And so when we fix patients' guts, we usually get some great results. How do we do it? If their stomach is up against the diaphragm, you might have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating. We pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. We adjust it as chiropractors. That's what we do. Then we check the nerve supply to the digestive system, another chiropractic evaluation. And then we get you on some good foods like super greens, an essential source. The minimum amount of nutrients you should be doing every day is super greens, an essential source. That's like, I can't imagine having a day without that. And then once you get the super greens, the essential source, you get the digestive enzymes in there. Have something raw at every meal. Whether it's broccoli, cucumbers, tomatoes, avocados. I had some papaya today. Raw food at every meal will give you prebiotics and probiotics to help recolonate the colon. And it's going to give you something called enzymes. Now, if I have a cooked meal, I take Dr. Joe's digestive enzymes because the enzymes help break down the food. If I have raw food, I don't take the enzymes. But most people would do really well with enzymes as well. All those supplements are on the website, drjoe.com. You can just go there and get it. Folks, if you're on hold, we got Carolyn, Iris, Lisa, a bunch of other folks. Keep holding on. I'm going to get to you. I got to talk about this Parkinson's disease and the gut connection, which is so important. Recent research published in the journal Neurology. Parkinson's disease may start in the gut and travel to the brain via the vagus nerve. Remember, the vagus nerve is the nerve that connects the gut to the brain. People had a truncal vagotomy, which means they removed a piece of a big chunk of the vagus nerve was taken out, as opposed to a sectional vagotomy, which is just a vagotomy, which is part of it, had 40% lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease. Now, they still got Parkinson's disease. So my question about this research was, if you took the vagus nerve out and it's coming from the gut, you wouldn't get Parkinson's disease. So I argued with the researchers, but then we went on. Other evidence for this hypothesis is that people with Parkinson's often have gastrointestinal problems such as constipation that can start decades before the disease. This goes to the Dr. Joe is right column, saying that when you have digestive problems, acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, it's going to affect the brain. It always does. So what they found was there were chemicals produced in the gut. It's called nucleins. And what happens is when you get these chemicals building up in the gut, they can travel up the vagus nerve. And the way they found it is they took rats or mice and they gave them the synuclein and they put it into the gut and they found it travel up the vagus nerve into the brain. 7 days, they observed it in the animal's guts. It clumped in about 21 days and then the clumps went up into the brain. So it's pretty neat stuff that they found that it actually traveled up the vagus nerve. So in the future, researchers hope to determine how many various bacteria influence the heart and other diseases. So if they find Parkinson's is affected by gut bacteria and certain proteins, what other diseases are going to be found out? They're looking to things such as obesity, type 2 diabetes, liver disease, and cardiovascular disease. We already know about the obesity and the bacteria, And now we're trying to see if there's bacteria issues that may be affecting other diseases as well. Chances are they're going to find it. I don't think this is something that's going to be come up a dead end, because we know some of it's happening already. Why wouldn't other diseases happen with it? And the reason I say that is because when patients come to our offices and we fix the nervous system chiropractically, we fix the digestive system maybe by adjusting the stomach, and we get them on super greens and essential source and probiotics, in many cases, not all, but in many cases, we see a lot of these conditions get better. And so we know the how to do it. We just don't know why it works. And now we're finding out why it works. So let's take a few more calls. If you have a question, give me a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe. Lisa, how can we make your day better?
Hey, Dr. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm happy.
I was wanting to know how you could get rid of cramps. My mom has them really bad, and she can't get rid of them.
You mean what kind, like leg cramps?
Yeah, like leg cramps,
Okay.
toe cramps.
Okay, a couple of things. Number one, from a chiropractic standpoint, we always check the nerves in the low back, because the nerves and the blood vessels in the low back, if they're being pinched, can cause leg cramps. And that's the most common issue we find. And I see this 8, 10, 12 times a day in my practice. And I have 4 other doctors working with me, so we all see it on a regular basis. So we got to check the nerve supply. And then we got to check her diet. If she has a really acid diet, if she's eating a lot of alcohols, meats, sugars, dairies, coffee, sodas, artificial sweeteners, the body's using calcium to neutralize the acids from those foods.
Uh-huh.
And so it could be a calcium imbalance, a magnesium imbalance. Dr. Joe's nitric oxide can open up the blood vessels in most cases and increase circulation. So you got to straighten out the diet, get her on Super Greens, essential source of nitric oxide, and then if we still need to have her come see us, and we'll get her adjusted.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thanks,
Dr.
Lisa.
Joe.
Appreciate it. All right, what do you got here? It says Parkinson's. Back to Parkinson's. See, Garrett is very smart because he knows me. He's worked with me long enough to know that when I start drifting, I kind of don't come back sometimes. So, yes, with the Parkinson's disease, the synuclein, if they form in the gut, they can travel up the vagus nerve. So once again, we got to keep the gut healthy so you don't form these proteins, in this case, that can cause problems. We know with Alzheimer's, there's proteins that can form amyloid plaque that can form in the brain, and that's a protein buildup. And a lot of times with Alzheimer's, we get people on a normal diet. We get them on fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. We get them off the bad foods. We get them off sugar, because what we're finding with Alzheimer's, we're calling it now type 3 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is insulin resistance in the body. Type 3 diabetes is insulin resistance in the brain. And when the cells aren't using glucose as a fuel because they're resistant to insulin allowing the glucose to come into the cells, that's insulin resistance, it seems to be building up these amyloid plaques. And so if we get people on a very, very, very low-carb diet, and we get them on things that are higher in proteins and fats and good quality nutrients like super greens, essential source, nitric oxide to open up the blood vessels, many times we start to see some changes. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. People come and say, Dr. Joe, I did what you said for 2 days now, and I don't see any changes. It's a lifetime of damage we have to repair. So I'm not saying we can fix everything. I'm not saying that it's going to cure these diseases. What I am saying is now there's hope. There's a step-by-step protocol you can take. So if you have pain, come see us. From a chiropractic standpoint, my team of doctors are really good at getting rid of pain. In fact, they're my doctors. They're the people that I go to when I have health issues. So if you have pinched nerves, get it fixed. If you've ever been in a car accident, ever, if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. So you need to get that fixed as well. The sooner you come see us, the better. And many times we have patients after car accidents come see us and say, Doc, I've been through this doctor, that doctor, and it just wasn't working. And the reason is, and I'm not saying what they did was wrong, but they missed one thing. They missed looking for bones out of place, pinching nerves to put the bones back in place. And when we can do that, we usually get some pretty good results. So, folks, if you want to make an appointment, give us a call, 844-44-Dr. Joe. When I'm not on the air, if you have questions, you can call that number now. My website, over 1,000 hours of podcasts. If you want to get the supplements, 844-44-Dr. Joe. If you come to our offices at Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, and you want to get the supplements, you don't have to pay shipping. I don't want to pay the post office. I'd rather save you the money. And a lot of good information is on the website, drjoe.com. So, folks, I'm there 24 hours a day for you at drjoe.com. Hey, do me a favor. Tell your friends about the show. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm.
Oh my goodness. I had a cough that just would not leave.
Isn't that funny when you got a cough on the air? I can't, Okay. Bam, bam. What else? All right, we're going to talk about optimizing your gut flora now. Next segment.
I'll tell you what, though, I was really proud of him the other day. He sneezed on the air, but he sneezed and then, checked out.
Yeah, we have a
You
shut off
have
button.
like
Yeah.
it's like a 3-second dump button.
Well, this one just shuts it off. I can shut it off and come back on again. That's
Okay.
real time. Now, if somebody says something bad on you, only once in all the years I've been on the air, somebody said something stupid. You hit the dump button and it drops 8 seconds. Because what we say and what they hear is 8 seconds later. So I can dump it and then just picks us up live, and then it eventually builds up those 8 seconds again. Yes, but that's the on-off button. Yeah. So I'm not on social media. I can do stuff like
Pretty
that. You know,
smooth.
when I'm on social media, I can't do that. You know. So, yes, you have questions, thoughts, comments.
Instagram doesn't have any questions.
Instagramians are being quiet tonight
All of their questions have been answered.
because they're all going to make appointments to come see us so that they can get healthy themselves. Yes.
I'm just getting on, but is there anything you can do to help me with my eyesight? I've had bleeding behind my eyes for some time, and I've been having to do laser treatments and shots.
Yes, I have macular degeneration personally. I was told several years ago I was going blind. There's nothing you can do. Basically, you can maybe slow it down. I started doing Super Greens and Essential Source every day, and I have I've just put those pictures on the website. I have the pictures. Did I ever send them to you, Garrett? The picture of my eyes?
Oh, yes. We used them in your presentation.
That's right. Why don't we get those on the website? I think that would be a really cool thing. Make a note. Don't forget. Make a note. That would be a cool little thing on my blog. And pictures of my macular degeneration, and year after year, just getting better and better and better and better, and it's amazing. And my doctors are blown away. They're like, "This is impossible. No one gets better from macular degeneration." And so my doctor sends a ton of their patients to our office to pick up the supplements. And it took a long time. It took 6, 8, 10 months before you started seeing anything, and then about a year or two before I actually was able to go to the eye doctor and see changes. But the antioxidants are so good to help heal the eyes. Now, I'm not saying it's going to cure your eyes, but that's absolutely positively. Starting tomorrow, you need to get on Super Greens and Essential Source. So, Garrett's making notes.
I'm 55 and
you don't look 55. You look great for 55. Yeah.
What vitamin should I be taking?
Man or woman?
Looks like woman.
Okay, it doesn't really matter. I just thought I'd ask. So, Super Greens and Essential Source, B complex, adrenal support, and vitamin D. Those are all on our website, drjoe.com.
Okay, Dr. Joe. When I cough, if I'm standing, I feel it in my legs.
Yes.
It's a hard cough.
That is called a
And
Valsalva's
it's
maneuver.
hard to describe.
I know what it is.
But it's a tingling-like sensation.
Yes.
Also, I suffer with cramps throughout my body.
Yes.
If I turn the wrong way or stretch too long, I'll get cramping on my sides and ribs.
Yes.
Sounds tense.
Okay. The coughing is called Valsalva's maneuver. It's building up what's called the intrathecal pressure inside your spinal cord. And when you bear down, it puts pressure on what's called the nerve roots in your low back and shoots the pain down the legs. It's a test we can do if somebody coughs and like drops to their knees. We usually want to set them out for an MRI right away. They may have a bulging disc. Yours doesn't seem that severe, so chances are it's a pinched nerve in your low back, pinching the thecal sac around the spinal cord, building up that intrathecal pressure. So that sounds like a chiropractic case. The cramps is probably a nutritional issue. So you want to get off the bad foods, get on the good foods, Super Greens, Essential Source, nitric oxide. The probiotics would probably help you build up the bacteria in your colon. And that's what I would do if I were you. We see these cases like yours all day, every day. That's why I know the answer so quickly. So,
Here's a good question. I grew up, one of my closest friends had restless leg syndrome. She had all kinds of surgeries for it.
Yes.
Would the nitric oxide help?
Could. Just your pinched nerve along with the nitric oxide, yes. So the answer is probably. But you got to fix that pinched nerve too. Again, you're treating the symptom, not just the cause. So.
Yeah, one of my closest friends, I've known her since I was 4.
So 5 years now.
Yeah, we used to play Star Wars in recess together.
Ooh.
But
you should be jealous, Sierra. The Star Wars chicks.
Princess Leia. Anyways, yeah, she fell playing volleyball or something like that and rotated her kneecap out of alignment, and when they put it back, she had restless leg.
Yeah.
And was never made right.
Yeah. The knee, they probably put the kneecap back. They didn't realign the tibia and fibula along with the femur, and so you probably get the knee adjusted. We adjust knees all day, every day, and then check the nerves in the low back, and then the nitric oxide. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I am not going to get this right.
Oh, I got the bell. I'm ready.
I'll tell you
Here we go.
right now. My son is 11, diagnosed with JIA
Sound it out.
methotrexate.
Shot.
METHOTREXATE.
Okay, methotrexate is right. Okay.
Okay. What are the negatives, long-term effects of this med? RA doctor says without med he will suffer irreversible damage.
And what's the condition he's taking it for?
JIA.
JIA.
Do you know what JIA?
Yeah. You guys always send letters to us. Send us the full name of what it is. We'll be able to help you a little bit better, I think. Okay.
Dr. Joe.
Yes.
This is a question about coconut milk, the canned kind.
Yes.
Makes a great substitute for dairy in recipes.
Yes.
Is it okay? And is the light version healthier?
Light version is better because it has less sugar. So yes, and it's fine. But it's still a lot of sugar. Remember, you want to keep your net carbs to about 40 grams a day. That's perfect world. You take your carbohydrates that you're eating minus the fiber that you're eating, and that number is your net carbs.
Do you have any suggestions for someone who is suffering from spasticity?
Spasticity? Ooh. I'm going to give you that one. Okay, you stuttered, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
This person had a tumor on the spinal cord and surgery to remove it. Spasticity seems to be a byproduct of the surgery.
Absolutely. Yeah, very common. You want to get a chiropractic evaluation because sometimes when they do the surgery, they don't align the bones exactly right. So you may need to get chiropractic care. And then we got to look at their diet as well. Because with spasticity, it could be a magnesium deficiency, it could be a calcium imbalance, so it could be several different things. So Super Greens and Essential Source are always a great start. And then it sounds like it could be a chiropractic case as well.
Okay, figure out what JIA is.
Go ahead.
Juvenile idiopathic arthritis.
There you go. Okay. Hold that thought.
Okay.
The answer is yes. The answer is methotrexate does have side effects, and the answer is we have an option. Not to take him off the methotrexate, but get him well enough that he doesn't need the methotrexate. We hope.
50, lows 26 to 29.
54 degrees on Peachtree Street at News 95.5 and AM 750 WSB. Depend on it.
Listen to Dr. Joe. The 5 most dangerous words in the English language are maybe it will go away, stop suffering, and start getting well. Dr. Joe Esposito is on WSB.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. Thanks for being with us today. Boy, a lot of folks tuning in today. We got a ton on social media. We got a bunch of callers here, and we're talking about a hot topic. We're talking about the gut-brain connection and how it all works. Now, if you have Caroline, Iris, if you're on hold, keep holding. I do got to cover this before I get back to questions. What do you do about all this? That's the big question everybody wants to know. How do you optimize your gut flora, the bacteria in your colon? And it may be one of the most important disease prevention strategies you can do. People come to us all day, every day and say, Dr. Joe, what can I do for blah, 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 blah. And I always say you have to have 3 things: a normally functioning nervous system, normally functioning digestive system, and good nutrition. That's the protocol that we put our patients on, because most people have health insurance, but they don't have a health plan. Now you have a health plan. And when companies say, well, your company's health plan, it's not a health plan. It's an insurance plan. What does that have to do with your health? It has to do with your sickness. It's probably more like sick plan and a healthcare plan. So from a chiropractic standpoint, we want to check if you have pinched nerves, because 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. So if you have pain, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, chances are you have a pinched nerves, headaches. But 90% of the time, you can have a pinched nerve and not know it, because 90% of your nerves don't feel pain. It's part of the autonomic nervous system. It automatically makes your body work. So in our offices, we check the nerves that feel pain and the nerves that don't feel pain. If bones are out of alignment, they will rub up against each other and they will wear out. That's the only guarantee I can give you. And so that's called osteoarthritis. If you have acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas, bloating, sometimes we have to adjust or pull the stomach away from the diaphragm so that you can break down your food more efficiently, so you can absorb your nutrients and take the stress off the colon, the small intestine, large intestine, because the food is passing partially digested into the small and large intestine. It's irritating the lining of the intestine, causing an inflammatory reaction. And that inflammatory reaction can become systemic, means it goes through the whole body. It becomes through your whole system. Then we got to make sure the bacteria are right. That's what we're talking about today, getting that bacteria in your gut right. And then you got to get on good foods. So the minimum amount of nutrients you should take every day are Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're on the website, drjoe.com. And I take them every day at least once a day. And I can't imagine a day going by without taking them, because it has prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, a complete multivitamin. It alkalizes the system, good source for omega-3 fatty acids, minerals. So it's just amazing stuff. I take a scoop of each. I shake it up with either cold water, coconut milk, almond milk. I drink it every day. You can make a smoothie with it if you'd like to. You can put it on your food if you want to, in your food. Stuff's pretty amazing. And that's on the website, drjoe.com. And if you come and pick it up in our offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge, you don't have to pay shipping. And I have no desire to pay the post office. If you just come by, we can do that for you. If you want to make an appointment to come see us, as from a chiropractic standpoint, digestive standpoint, nutrition standpoint, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. Just call 844-44-Dr.Joe, and I'm not on the air, and we'll get you set up. All right, so all the information that we just talked about for the past, hour and a half, it drives you to the point of optimizing your gut flora so that you have normal health, mental, and physical. So reseeding your gut with beneficial bacteria is essential to maintain a proper balance. You want to get beneficial bacteria to help to fight the pathogenic bad guys like fungus and microbes. And you want to prevent them from taking over your gut. So that's why we recommend a Super Greens, an essential source, the probiotics if you have acid reflux. If you're not going to the bathroom, you should go to the bathroom, have a bowel function at least twice a day. If you have once a day, that's the minimum. But twice a day would be good. And if that's not the case, it could be a pinched nerve going to the organs. It could be the colon spasm. We have something. It's not back on the website. We're out of stock. It's coming back hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's called Dr. Joe's Intestinal Cleanser, and that stuff works amazingly well. I shouldn't even tell you about it because we don't have it in stock, but it's pretty amazing. It should be back in stock really well. So check the website, see if it's there. Also, there's a chemical called dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's in the body that helps you feel good. And that also comes from what? Digestion. So you got to make sure your digestive system is working properly. So if your immune system isn't working properly, if your digestive system isn't working properly, there's several things I want you to consider. Most important things, we'll make it quick for you here, and then I'll go back to taking some callers. If you have a question, give us a call, 844-44-Dr.Joe. Antibiotics, use only when absolutely necessary. And when you do, make sure you reseed or fill up the colon in your bacteria again with Dr. Joe's probiotics. You can do things like cabbage are high in probiotics. That's why we make sauerkraut out of, or kimchi, because the cabbage is naturally high in probiotics. You can do fermented foods like sauerkrauts or kimchis, but if you buy them in the store, they're pasteurized. So we make it works great, and then we pasteurize it and kill off a lot of good bacteria. So if you're going to do that, you might want to consider making it yourself. Conventionally raised meats and other dairy products are routinely fed low-dose antibiotics, and they're given genetically modified food. So you got to realize that the cows and the pigs are eating things like genetically modified corn, genetically modified soy, which are sprayed many times with something called glyphosate. And glyphosate is a weed killer, but it acts as an antibiotic, and your colon can kill off the good bacteria. So if you're eating conventionally grown fruits and vegetables, that's not the best thing because of the glyphosate. But if you're eating cows or animals that are fed conventionally grown soy and corn, it's building up the glyphosate in their body as well. So you just got to be real careful with that. Processed foods, especially sugar. Sugar feeds the bad bacteria. It's like throwing fuel on a fire. You're feeding those bad bacteria. So you just want to be real careful about the sugar. Now, when I say sugar, breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, that's all sugar, folks. Is it hard to give them up? Yeah, it is. Is it worth it? Yeah, it is. Because once that body starts to get healthy and you start to feel good, what you're going to do, because you're human, is you're going to cheat. You know what, Dr. Joe, I've been so good for a week, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, whatever it is. I'm going to blow it out, man. I'm just going to have cookies and cakes and donuts and pastas and pizza and ice cream. And when you feel terrible, I want you to say these words. 4 words. Dr. Joe was right. Because I am right. I promise you. I'm not lying to you. And once you get healthy, you don't want to be sick anymore. And you'll cheat, and you'll feel it, and you'll say, I got to go back to that the way Dr. Joe taught me on how to live. Chlorinated water. If you take a shower with most tap water, hot shower, it's going to open up your pores. You're going to absorb about 8 glasses worth of chlorine, if you drank 8 glasses of water, into your body. So I'm not a big fan of chlorine because it can do those problems. If you swim in a chlorinated swimming pool, please, I beg you, shower right away. I know you're showering in chlorinated water, but you're washing off that high concentration of chlorine. And make sure you use a good soap. Because if you're using toxic chemicals in your soap, that's not a good idea. I use something called Castile soap. It's a liquid soap. And I have it in all my bathrooms, all my showers, everywhere. And that's what I use to bathe with because you want to make sure it doesn't cause any toxic reactions in your body. So Castile soap is something that's safe. I don't use fluorinated toothpaste because fluorine might help fight cavities. I'm not going to argue that point. But when you use it in your mouth and brush with it, you swallow it. It does no good in your gut. It kills off the good bacteria. So I'm not going to argue the point about fluorine helping cavities, but I don't want it in your body. And if you look at the side, if you look at the toothpaste tube, if you have commercial toothpaste, look at it. It's going to have a warning on it. And that warning is this: harmful if swallowed, call poison control. It's toothpaste. So don't do that. Kind of silly. Antibacterial soaps. They contain many times a chemical called triclosan, and triclosan is a hormone disruptor. It'll mess with your hormone, acts like an endocrine disruptor, so it'll really mess you up as well. And so those are not things you want to put into your body. Folks, got to go to break. If you're on hold, I'm going to get your questions. This is our last segment, so if you have a question, 844-44-Dr. Joe. If we don't get to you, send it to me through the website, drjoe.com. And you can make appointments on the website, drjoe.com. And you can order supplements at drjoe.com. We have over 1,000 hours of podcast, audio and video. And you can go to the podcast and watch them there as well, because we want to help you get well and stay well. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. We want to do everything we can to help you, your family, and friends get well and stay well. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Tell your friends about the show. We'll be right back.
If you're like most people, you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, headaches. Maybe it's time to stop suffering and it's time to take action. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, why don't you come see me and my team of doctors, and let's see if you have a problem that we can help. Go to my website, drjoe.com, or call 844-44-Dr. Joe to make an appointment today, because so many of you are out there suffering needlessly, and we want to put a stop to that. Come see us at our offices in Marietta, Stockbridge, and Duluth. Make an appointment today so we can help get you well and keep you well. All right, last segment.
Hurry up, because I got a fun question.
Well, this is just going back to the question that we
Oh,
were
juvenile arthritis, yes. Idiopathic means we don't know what causes it. That's the word, idiopathic. We don't know what causes it. So what do? It's an autoimmune disease. The body's attacking itself. So we have to get the body to calm down. The two foods you have to give up right away are wheat and dairy products. And that's breads, cookies, cakes, donuts, pastas, ice cream, butter, cheese, yogurt, eggs. There's substitutes for all of those in a gluten-free, dairy-free world. So that would help most cases tremendously. You got to check his vitamin D levels. If his vitamin D isn't where it needs to be, you got to get him on Dr. Joe's vitamin D supplements. Chances are it's not where it needs to be. Very few people are at where they need to be. 5 drops, so it's 5,000 international units of vitamin D every day. Then if he does have digestive issues, acid reflux, heartburn, burping, gas bloating, the probiotics, maybe we have to adjust his stomach. From a rheumatoid arthritis standpoint, the joints are swollen and the bones move out of place. So chiropractically, we have to put the bones back in place as well. But we have a ton of people with autoimmune conditions, and once we get them stabilized, in most cases, they're very, very happy with the results. So I'm not saying stop taking the methotrexate. I'm saying let's get him well so maybe he doesn't need the methotrexate.
And just quick, really, is that the same remedies for somebody with rheumatoid arthritis?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay. That was another question.
All right, Mr. G.
For 7 days, I've had a tingling, tender feeling on the right side of my upper body. It almost feels like body aches that come with the flu.
Okay.
But I'm not sick. It doesn't feel internal and is more uncomfortable than it is painful. Am I dying?
On the right side, probably not. Left side, I'd say maybe it's a heart attack. With the right side, it could be a gallbladder reaction. If the gallbladder acts up, you could have shoulder pain. It could be the shoulders out of alignment. Many times we see that. With that achiness, the shoulder comes out of alignment. Could be a pinched nerve in the neck as well. So as long as there's not a fever involved, you might want to come see us and let us, if there is a fever, you can come see us too, but we can get that checked out for you.
All right.
Okay, and then she responded, I'm sorry, the mom about
yes,
her.
juvenile.
He was on a gluten-free diet for 7 years. We went back to wheat, doctor's recommendation.
Okay, well, I'm going to respectfully disagree with your doctor. Again, we don't have to agree on everything. I don't know why you'd want to go back to wheat. I mean, there's no benefit to wheat. It's not like it's a necessary food. So it's fine. Everyone should be gluten-free. I think the whole world would do great if we went gluten-free. So I'll respectfully disagree with the doctor on that one. Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead with your fun stuff.
What is the longest medical word or term that you know? And what does it mean?
Man, I got some good ones. I don't know.
That's such a hard one to be put on the spot.
Wow.
That's what he was
What
like.
comes to mind right now?
Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons.
What are they?
See, those are the chemicals that are released when meat is cooked. And the smell that smells so good, those are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are known carcinogens. So that's why that smell of barbecue, that smells so good, we know that can lead to cancer. So that's the first one I could think of off the top of my head. I'm sure I have others up there. It's got to go through my
We're just going to say one during the radio show and be like, oh, yep, there you go.
There it is. Ha, we got a bigger one. There you go.
They said that he was losing weight quickly, and that's why they put him back on wheat.
Well, if you could put him on other things. You could put him on other grains, which I don't think you should anyway. But you can get him on avocados and nuts, and that'll help put the weight on.
Super Greens and Essential Source will help get
Super
nutrients too.
There you go. If you get your nutrients, you'll help gain weight. Super Greens and Essential Source, probiotics, vitamin D. Come see us.
Natural
I'm gonna
fats.
try this,
Yeah, natural
but
fats,
it's longer
avocados.
than this.
Okay.
This word is longer than most sentences I've written.
Yeah.
Humanolotramicroscopic silicovolcanosis.
That was pretty close.
Got me on that one. I don't know.
It's very, very, very long. It takes up in like a line and a half.
Okay. Are they just asking that it's a big word, or they have
Yeah,
a question about it?
No, it's just
I
a
think
word.
that's her flex.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect word.
Okay, you win. I shall bow to you. You are the great one.
The great Puma of words.
I want to know what this is. Glad there's copy and paste.
Cut and paste it. There you go.
To exit 154, Highway 63. Steve Winslow.
Quite Rachel yawning. Here we go. Last segment.
Are important to you. Start today with something. Your control, your health. Dr. Joe Esposito is on.
Hey folks, Dr. Joe here. So glad you're with us today. Great show today. Holy cow, a lot of interaction, a lot of callers. We appreciate that. Folks, I know some of you called in, didn't want to come on the air. I didn't get to answer your questions. Sorry about that. If you have questions, send them to me through the website, drjoe.com. Hopefully we can get those answered for you. We'll have Sierra answer them for you because she's so good at that. She's good at saying, Dr. Joe, answer this for me. But the website's there 24 hours a day. Great website, tons of good information. We have a blog there as well. You can read articles that we've written. We have our podcast, audio and video podcasts are there. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We want to help you get well and stay well. Let me get my callers because they've been holding on for a long time here, and I do appreciate that. Let's see. Caroline, how can we make your day better?
Yes, thank you. I went to have a bone density test. I hadn't had one in a couple of years.
Uh-huh.
And so they came back and said I have mild scolopenia.
Scolopenia. I don't know what it sounds like an Italian dish.
Scolio, where your back is kind of your bone
scoliosis?
in your back.
Scoliosis?
Yeah, well, it's called scolopenia.
Scolopenia would be thinning of the bones. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I know. So the doctor said that I need to be taking vitamin D, which I'm taking your 5,000 because
Good girl.
it's wintertime.
Excellent.
I take that every day, and so far I haven't even had a cold.
If nothing else, it helps your immune system tremendously, right?
Yeah.
So,
So I'm thrilled. But they said that I need to be on some calcium, but I just, I do some weight-bearing things, and I have, I've had knee replacement. I can't do a lot of knee bend, things like
Understood.
that.
Uh-huh.
And I was just wondering, is there anything that I really need to be doing for having the thinning of the taking?
Yeah, osteopenia is the thinning of the bones. It's a first stage of osteoporosis. So with that, the vitamin D is important. The calcium, not so much, because if you're eating a good diet, you don't need a lot more calcium because a good diet has plenty of calcium in it. If you're eating a bad diet, you got to stop eating a bad diet. Because if you're eating bad foods, acid foods, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, the body uses...
I do have really bad reflux. I've been on medication probably for 40 years.
Carolyn, you got to come see us, and hopefully we can fix that. Because
I really want to.
Because here's one of the
I'm
things.
sick of having to throw up. I'm sorry. It's
Yes.
really bad.
Because the medication, many medications for acid reflux prevent you from properly absorbing calcium, B12, iron, and magnesium. And you need
I want to get off of it. I truly want to stop taking it.
Well, it sounds like
But
you got
I do want
to come see us because, again, the medication can prevent you from absorbing calcium. So even if you take more calcium, you may not be absorbing it. So Super Green's an essential source, loaded with good nutrients. I would start there. If the doctor said calcium, just make sure it's not calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is the cheap version. You want to do calcium lactate or calcium citrate.
Okay, and can I ask you one more question?
Yeah, real quick. We're almost out of time.
I had my gallbladder out like 10 years ago.
Yes.
And I really hadn't been thinking about it. And someone mentioned it the other day. There's so many foods that you're not supposed to eat when you have your gallbladder out.
Correct. Yes.
Can you name?
Sure. Anything
some of
fried,
them?
anything with vegetable oil in it, corn oil, soy oil, anything fried, you can't do that. You just don't have that store of bile that you need to digest heavy fatty foods. So you just got to cut those out, which you should be cutting out anyway because they're all bad for you anyway. So.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right, Carolyn, thanks so much. Come
Okay.
see us. 844-44 Dr. Joe will get you an appointment when we're not on the air. Iris, how can we make your day better?
Hi, Dr. Joe. I was calling because a couple of years ago I injured my head when I closed my van trunk down on my head,
I've done that.
and it hit me in the base of the back of my head, and I
Yes.
think that's where the vagus nerve starts.
Correct.
And ever since then, I've been experiencing unsteadiness and dizziness when I'm driving. I can't go into high elevations or low elevations or wide areas. I get start having like anxiety. My heart starts beating real fast, and my left arm and my hand goes numb.
Yep.
Like I'm about to have a heart attack. So I can't drive on the interstate. Is that anything have to do with the?
What usually happens is when you bang the head like that, you move the occiput, the back part of your skull, out of place. So it can affect the vagus nerve. It can also put pressure on what's called your brain stem, because your brain kind of funnels down and becomes the spinal cord right in that area. And there's a hole in your skull called the foramen magnum, and that's where the brainstem funnels down through. So many times when you have vertigo, the skull can shift out of place, and it puts pressure on the brainstem and or the vagus nerve, and that's why a lot of those things you're experiencing could be going on. So if you want to come see us, we'd be more than happy to check your occiput, your atlas, the top bones up there, and see if it's a structural issue, and then hopefully we can fix it for you.
Okay, I had an MRI and a CAT scan. They said everything is normal.
Perfect. So we know
I
what
even
it's
had
not.
my eyes tested and everything, and they said everything was normal, but I'm still having that problem, and I have vestibular migraines in my ear, in my left ear, from all of that.
I love the fact that you had the test because we know it's not a fracture, we know it's not a blood clot or a tumor, so most likely when the tests come back negative, it's usually a structural issue, and that doesn't show up on an MRI. So if you want to come see us, or any of you want to come see us, we can check all that out for you and see what we can find. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks,
all right.
Iris.
Thank
Appreciate
you so
it.
much.
Yeah, and folks, if you have an MRI or an X-ray or something you want us to do a reading on, we're more than happy to do a reading for you. You know, it's part of consultation. We won't charge you for it, and we'll go over it with you and then give you our opinion. Because again, many times when we do an MRI or CAT scan, we're looking for a disease, a fracture, a tumor, a swollen disc. If it doesn't show up, that's almost always falling then into our realm, the chiropractic realm, where we can put the bones back in place and get those things fixed. So neck pain, back pain, headaches, dizziness, many times it's a bone out of place. And then patients say the same thing all day, every day, and we never get tired of hearing it, but they say, why didn't I do this sooner? Why wasn't I told to come here? I mean, even tomorrow morning, I have a meeting first thing in the morning with a neurosurgical group. And the reason we're having a meeting with them is they want me to put together a protocol for them on when to refer to chiropractic, because many times they have cases, it's not a surgical case, patient isn't responding to medicine, they don't know what to do, they're lost. And so that's why we love this. And we get referrals from doctors all the time. They refer back to us, and we co-manage the case. I don't want to steal another doctor's patients, and I don't want them stealing my patients. We want to work together to get them well. There's even a hospital here in our area that is considering having me set up a clinic in the hospital for pain management, for chronic pain patients. Because after you give somebody a couple of opioids and they're not getting better, you can't keep prescribing. It's not allowed. It's illegal. And these people need care. They're not faking it in many cases. They need treatment. And so the doctors don't know what to do. And so if you want to become one of our patients, we'd love to have you as a patient. Go to my website, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment online, or the number to call the office is 844-44-Dr.Joe. We're not on the air. And we'll get you set up. We accept most insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. I say it 1,000 times. I'll say it again. If you were ever in a car accident, if the car was damaged, you were damaged. I don't care what the insurance companies say. You need to come see us and let us check that out. All the supplements we talked about, the Super Greens, the Essential Source, the B12, the nitric oxide, the adrenal support, the probiotics, all those are on the website, drjoe.com. Do me a favor, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, send us your email address. We'll never give out your email address. Sometimes we send out specials and newsletters, and you become part of the cool kids. We send out good information. Because our job, we want to naturally get you well and keep you well. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, the website, drjoe.com. Thanks for listening. Thanks for telling your friends about the show. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, it's Eric Von Hessler, WSB's 9 a.m. to noon host. You all.
All right, social media folks, thanks for being here. We do appreciate it. We got to get up early tomorrow. Garrett and I have an important meeting, so we got to run. Thanks for telling your friends about Joe. Share this with your friends, by the way, so we can spread it all around the social media networks. Thanks so much for being here.